And it's interesting, because they say, oh, Haiti's such a dangerous country, and people...
I met a lot of fascinating people on my travels around the world, so let me introduce you to a couple of crazy Americans I met on my last trip to Haiti.
Instead of potting soil, potty soil.
Meet Sasha Kramer and Sarah Brownell. They live and work together in a Spartan apartment in the center of the city of Cape Haitian. From here, they run a nonprofit organization called Soil. It builds a new kind of toilet that could have a significant impact on how poor people live.
So this is where our household dry toilet is.
Wow, okay. And I should say, for the benefit of the camera, that it is not exactly aromatic, but it's not, it doesn't stink enormously. Within the toilet, liquid and solid waste are separated, and then it is composted for a year and becomes a nutrient-rich fertilizer, very much like potting soil.
So this is the finished product, if you will, after we mix all of the organic wastes from the kitchen, the dried poop from the toilet. And
frankly, I was a little bit taken aback when, within minutes of meeting them, they presented me with the product of their toilet. Actually, it doesn't smell at all. They use this soil themselves to grow vegetables on their rooftop. There are two huge problems in international development that don't get a lot of attention. One is sanitation, because you can't begin to address public health problems until you treat human waste properly. And second is the problem of agriculture. You can't begin to develop these poor countries' economies unless you also begin to improve their agricultural yields and improve the food supply. Sasha and Sarah then took me to one of Soil's composting projects, deep in the heart of Cape Haitian's most dismal slum. The project is still in a pilot phase, but it shows promise.
So this right here is a toilet that our organization built. So they use this toilet, they take care of it.
And they maintain it.
They clean it, yep, and they've done a good job of it. I mean, it's not always spotless. I don't know what we'll see when we go in. But it's definitely being used.
And do they, this is a dry toilet, they have to distinguish between urine and feces?
Yeah. Yep.
And this at some point will end up on somebody farmer's field?
Yep, this will be taken out to a compost site a little outside of the city, turned into soil, and then end up on a farmer's field.
Or we may bring some back and try to do some household gardening projects with the kids.
Hey, I didn't say this was glamorous work, but in places like this, it is much needed. So this is a public children's toilet. And how do I put this? It smells but doesn't stink. In the range of public toilets in developing countries, this is pretty good. And actually, it's very good.
She said that they used to go to the bathroom out by the water there, but since they've had this toilet, the kids in the youth group use this toilet.
Still, there are serious challenges to making it work and scaling it up. It is a little more responsibility than standard latrine.
Yep, and as I understand, the kids keep it clean, and Madame Bois puts in the sawdust. So she comes in the evenings, puts in the sawdust, and then she tells the kids, you better go clean up the toilet tonight, and checks up on them.
In case you were wondering, this is Madame Bois. As we rode motorcycles out to one of their rural toilets, Haiti's desperate need for fertilizer was immediately apparent. The soil here is severely depleted, and farmers cannot afford chemical fertilizer. Sasha and Sarah say that using human waste as fertilizer could more than double yields.
This is an example of one of our rural toilets. So we have all kinds of crops out here, mostly bananas and corn and potatoes and beans. And the great thing about having these toilets in rural areas is that this toilet can actually provide fertilizer and is providing fertilizer to these fields that you see here. And we have
so far. Do the crops grow better?
Well, so far we have anecdotal evidence that they do, and we're working on setting up some more rigorous experiments where we could really demonstrate that. But the farmers say yes.
These two women still have a long road ahead of them, and I can't be sure that this technology will make economic sense. But I love the idea that even at a time when America's own needs are so immense, a couple of young, crazy Americans are out here dedicating themselves to helping others whose distress is so much greater than our own. In Cape Haitian, Haiti, for the New York Times, I'm Nicholas Kristof.